Ag Bioscience, the #1 ag tech podcast globally, is now available on video. Hear from leaders and innovators across food, animal health, plant science, ag tech, and agriculture. Mondays at 6 a.m. on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're there, subscribe and leave us a review. It's the Ag Bioscience Podcast with Agronovis Indiana. Get more information at agronovisindiana.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, June 15th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. A Michigan City developer is moving to redevelop a 1930s dairy building in the city's mid-city corridor into a four-concept commercial space that could include a restaurant, pub, event venue, and ice cream parlor. Werner Graff purchased the former Scholl Dairy building, which he said could create economic impact for a growing area of the city.
What I felt was, A, I could save the building, and B, maybe participate in the revitalization of the mid-city area and hopefully help Michigan City in the long term.
Graff said he is in active discussions with potential partners for the ice cream parlor concept and has spoken with others about the remaining spaces. The project does not yet have formal plans before the city. A manufacturer of feeding, drinking, climate control, and other systems for the poultry and egg production industries has broken ground on a 79,000 square foot expansion in Milford. Chore Time did not disclose its financial investment, but said the expansion to its manufacturing space is expected to be operational by early 2027. The University of Evansville and the University of Southern Indiana announced plans today for the inaugural River City Classic, being presented in conjunction with the Evansville Regional Sports Commission. The November 7 matchup will mark the first regular season Division I meeting between the school's men's basketball teams. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
Tired of watching its employers struggle to afford the cost of health care, Republican-controlled Indiana is trying a traditionally liberal tactic to control costs, setting government price controls on hospitals.
Under a law enacted last year, 5 of Indiana's largest nonprofit hospital systems cannot charge patients covered by job-based health plans more than an established price cap. Hospitals that fail to keep prices below the threshold by 2029 risk losing their tax-exempt status, which would mean owing millions of dollars in state taxes. Even before that penalty kicks in, the law requires these hospitals, which control nearly half of the state's hospital market, to offer direct-to-employer contracts, bypassing insurers, and stay within limits set by the state. Hospitals that don't comply face a $10,000 a day penalty. Many other Indiana hospitals must comply with this provision beginning in September. Indiana's law comes amid growing frustration with rising insurance costs and hospital prices, the biggest driver of growing healthcare costs. The price cap will be based on the statewide average for inpatient and outpatient hospital prices. Indiana will use Medicare as a yardstick by which to measure commercial prices, a comparison commonly used by researchers. This will show how much higher commercial prices are than the government programs. By June 30th, the state is expected to issue a report showing average hospital prices in the state and where individual hospitals fall on the spectrum. Abriana Herron, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A plane carrying a pilot and 11 passengers on a skydiving outing in Missouri crashed in a field and was engulfed in flames Sunday, killing all aboard, according to authorities. The crash happened shortly after the plane took off from a local airport in Butler, Missouri around 11:30 a.m., and some of the occupants' family members witnessed the crash. The private plane was operated by Skydive Kansas City, which is owned by Lafayette, Indiana-based private equity firm Little Engine Ventures. Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott confirmed on Inside Indiana Business Television that a second site is now under consideration for a potential $2 billion Chicago Bears stadium in Northwest Indiana. McDermott said Bears CEO Kevin Warren threw a great curveball.
I think it's a great recommendation that the Bears came up with. I think it's completely doable. And I know Indiana right now, through the Indiana Finance Authority, Jim McGough, the governor's staff, as well as us here in Hammond, we're working real hard on this new wrinkle and seeing if we can make it work.
McDermott still contends there could be a groundbreaking on a stadium project in his city yet this year. Former Vice President Mike Pence is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.